这是地球呼吸的声音。听，这是城市奔跑的声音。
支付宝到账。
听，这是生活跃动的声音。生活，看见更绿色的世界，看见更普惠的未来。科技让未来更普惠。
尊敬的各位领导、各位来宾、
Good morning,
各位
everybody.
金融科技界的同行和所有媒体的朋友们，
Ladies,
大
gentlemen,
家早上好。
leaders,
这里是全球
distinguished
金融科
delegates,
技
and
盛会
friends from the press.
2020
I'd like to
Inclusion
welcome you
外滩
to
大
the
会的现场。
2020
我是上海
Inclusion
广播电视台第一财
Fintech
经的主持人
Conference.
张元。
My name is
本次大
Zhang
会
Yuan.
由上海市
I'm
人民
a
政府指导，支
TV
付宝、
host
蚂蚁集团主
with
办，
China
科技
Business Network.
让未来更普惠。
And it's
首
my
先
pleasure to
有
be
请
hosting
上
you
海市委
today.
常委、副市长吴京先生为大
Let's
会致辞。
begin
有
by
请。
inviting to the podium the Vice Mayor of Shanghai, Mr. Wu Qing, to make opening remarks. Well, good morning, Eric, Simon, Madam Gorgieva, and other distinguished leaders and representatives. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. It's great this morning to be here at the Inclusion Fintech Conference on the bank of the Huangpu River, the birthplace of China's financial services sector. A great pleasure to gather with you to take stock and look together at the future. On behalf of the Shanghai government, I'd like to congratulate the organizers on the successful convening of this grand event. Looking out at the audience, I see many young, fresh faces. I'd like to welcome you all to Shanghai on behalf of the government. I'd also like to congratulate Alipay and Ant Group for the excellent preparations and organizations they've made for this conference, which adds luster to the Bund here in Shanghai. This year we encountered a one-in-a-century unprecedented epidemic under the leadership of General Secretary Xi Jinping. We have made a society-wide coordinated effort to contain and control the pandemic, to restart the economy, and have achieved remarkable results. This is not just a contribution to China, but to the world's economy. The pandemic brought unprecedented challenges to the economy, to society, but at the same time, in the areas of new economy, new retail, new finance, and other rapidly developing, new emerging formats and businesses and new products, it brought opportunity as well, especially in the financial services sector. AI, cloud, 5G, big data, among others, are also driving new business innovations, supporting the overall upgrading of financial services. Technology innovation is empowering financial services, and the future of financial services is very much centered around ongoing progress in technology. Financial services is one of the major beneficiaries and use cases for technology. Financial markets here are very active. Financial transactions in the first 8 months of the year reached 1,500 trillion RMB. That's up by 16.6% over the same period last year, playing an important role in driving economic growth. These new financial technologies are changing the landscape, driving integration, making financial services more inclusive and accessible. Fintech is the future. In the fintech space, Shanghai has all financial factors from equity, bonds, commodities, futures. We have trading markets for all of these. We're also home to all of the underlying infrastructure. With over 1,600 financial institutions here in the city, of which 1/3 or more are foreign invested. And we continue to accelerate the pace. We're building Shanghai into a globally influential financial services center with a number of special parks for innovation. At the same time, we're also developing AI and 5G. We are a leader when it comes to building and rolling out this kind of infrastructure. We have the first 2,000 giga level 5G network in the country. The city is also continually upgrading to fully grasp the opportunities of this new technology-empowered era, to create synergy between industry and technology and finance. We are exploring a number of different pilot programs to accelerate our financial hub initiative, including 5G-based quantum computing, algorithms, cloud computing, with ongoing research in all of these areas that we seek to accelerate in terms of its real-world application, so that financial services can further and better serve the development of the real economy. With fintech applications, we're committed to taking a market-led approach and fully leveraging fintech applications to drive higher efficiency in financial services. At the same time, we're building a fintech cluster in Shanghai, including with CUP, with Alipay, with Bank of China Technology, and a number of other major fintech players all here in our city. Going forward, we will continue to optimize our policy environment and business environment to build a healthily developing, innovative cluster of fintech players in Shanghai. Equally, we will embrace global technology innovations with an open attitude. Distinguished guests, the discussion today is around making finance more inclusive. Amongst other important topics, this is fully aligned with Shanghai's initiative to build itself into an international financial center and technology innovation center. We note that a number of highly renowned and influential Experts will be speaking at today's conference, and we certainly look forward to that. Alipay and Ant have brought together major players from across the world in the field of fintech to talk together about the future of our industry, the future of the economy. I'm certain that the conference will inspire new wisdom, inspiration for our further efforts in Shanghai to build a financial center. International financial services institutions, entrepreneurs, startup founders from around the world. You're all welcome here in Shanghai. We want you here in Shanghai. We benchmark ourselves to the highest standards, optimizing our all-factor financial services market, our business climate. We're committed to creating the best possible environment here for your development. And again, we welcome you all to Shanghai. In closing, I wish the Inclusion FinTech Conference a great success, and I wish all of you the best of health and success in your endeavors. Thank you.
谢谢吴清副市长的致辞。
Thank you,
诚如您所
Vice Mayor
言，在今年
Wu Qing.
年初一场席卷全球的
As
新
the
冠
mayor
疫情，
said,
使得全
this
球
year,
都按下了暂停
the
键
whole world，
也
was
为全球的
struck
经济
by an
合作带
unprecedented
来了全
pandemic.
新
It
的
hit
命
the
题
stop。button
那么，未来
on
全球
everything
经济的前景
and
如
gave
何，
rise
以
to
及
new
如何利
issues
用
and
金融
new
科技
thinking.
使得全球
What are
经
the
济开启
prospects
新的
going
合作的
forward?
结局？接下来，我们把目光聚焦在大
How
屏
are we
幕，
going to
有请
restart
国
the
际货币
economy
基金组织总
globally
裁
and
Ladies and
engage in new
gentlemen,
kinds of
let's welcome
collaboration?
Ms.
Let's welcome
Kristalina
Ms.
Georgieva.
Kristalina Georgieva from the IMF.
It is a pleasure to join you at the Inclusion FinTech Conference. I would like to thank Eric and Ant Group for giving me the opportunity to highlight two issues. One, the outlook for the world economy, and two, the critical role of financial inclusion in building a better and more resilient post-pandemic world. Let me start with the global economic outlook. After the initial shock, now we see incoming data telling us that the economy is in better shape than we thought in June when the IMF published its last global economic forecast. It is less bad. We see some signs of recovery. Second quarter performance in China and in many advanced economies was better than anticipated. We saw improvement after stringent lockdowns were eased, and we are now also seeing global trade slowly recovering. Why we are in a better place? Above all, because governments around the world threw out the rule book to fight the biggest crisis in our lifetime. They took extraordinary fiscal measures amounting to nearly $12 trillion, and central banks provided massive amount of liquidity. These measures have provided vital lifelines to people and to companies, putting a floor under the world economy. We at the IMF have done our part. We leaned into this crisis with full force. We have provided about 90 billion in financial support to 79 countries. Since March, our lending commitments have now reached about $270 billion. We have an additional 730 billion in lending capacity to serve our member countries in need. Continued support from governments and multilateral organizations remains critical. Even as the world has learned to function during the pandemic, even as we are hopeful to have a vaccine, one thing is clear: we are not out of the woods yet. There is tremendous uncertainty around the path of this crisis. The outlook for emerging markets and developing economies other than China remains precarious. And across all countries, growth prospects are affected by economic scarring, including from job losses and higher inequality. That takes me to my second point, the importance of financial inclusion to advance a fairer, faster and smarter recovery. While the outlook is uncertain, what is certain is now we have opportunity to act. As the Chinese proverb says, opportunity knocks but once. Seizing opportunities to improve financial access was already a priority for countries worldwide before the pandemic, but it is even more urgent now because groups that already lack access are being hit particularly hard by COVID-19. This includes low-income households, small businesses, and women. And a new study by the IMF shows that even before the onset of COVID, digital financial services were the main driver of financial inclusion. So let's look at how inclusion and fintech can make the recovery fairer, speedier, and smarter. How financial inclusion helps people to connect to opportunities and prevents slipping into poverty. So first, fairness. IMF research shows that increasing access to finance goes hand in hand with reducing income inequality and increasing growth. The largest reduction in inequality can be achieved when women are provided access to finance. Second, inclusion is not just morally right. Supported by fintech, inclusion can speed up the recovery. Digital financial services enable governments to quickly expand social safety nets. These payments not only help unemployed people, they put money in their hands and speed up the recovery because then they spend their money in their communities and support businesses. Fintech also enables direct payments. They increase transparency, they reduce the risk of corruption, and they reduce contact, which helps to fight the pandemic. Third, inclusion will facilitate a smarter transformation of our economies. Fintech is helping to slow the spread of COVID-19. It has made contactless and cashless transactions very popular and very useful. And digital payment services are expanding into digital lending, developing cheaper and more efficient ways to extend credit to hard-to-reach borrowers. As the fintech sector works to deliver these benefits, we manage the risks better and we expand the opportunities faster. Government actions will be critical to ensure financial stability and to avoid deepening digital divides. Technology can enable a new era of shared prosperity if countries provide the right support. So what can they do? They can invest in access to digital infrastructure. They can invest in people and improve financial and digital literacy and address biases in data that exclude the most vulnerable. And they can invest in the soft measures that enhance competition in the industry to provide services at the lowest cost. If we act wisely now, we can realize fintech's enormous potential. Together, we can make sure that people in poverty hear the knock of opportunity. Let's make that happen. 谢谢。
谢谢 Kristalina Georgieva 女士的致辞，也让我们
Thank
对
you,
于
Madam
整个金融科
Georgieva,
技在未来前景的发展引
for
发了我们
those
深度的思考。那么
incisive
近年
and
来，中国
important
金融
remarks
科
about the
技的
future
发展
of
得到了全
Fintech.
球同业的高度认可
Now,，
而
the
上海也更是
Fintech
作为
industry
全
in
球
China
金融科技
is
发展的高
recognized
地
as
和
a
标杆，
global
特
leader
别是以支付宝
around
为
the
代
world,
表的上海金
especially
融科
here
技
in
企业
Shanghai, which
也
is
成为了
the
全
major
球金
hub
融科技
for
发
the
展的金站
industry
标。接
in
下来
China,
请出蚂蚁集团董事
with,
长景
of
洪
course,
栋先生致
Alipay
辞，
and
有请。
Ant, which is seen as a weather vane for the global industry. Let's invite to the stage Eric Jing, Executive Chairman. Distinguished Vice Mayor Wu Qing, Madam Georgieva, Mr. Zhou, Mr. Xi, distinguished guests online and offline. I'd like to welcome you all to the Inclusion FinTech Conference. First, on behalf of our company, I'd like to thank the government of Shanghai for its strong support. I'd like to thank our peers and counterparts and partners from all around the world for your enthusiastic participation. The pandemic cannot stop this kind of exchange. This location we're at today is part of what we call the New Bund in Shanghai, and it's testimony to how Shanghai is developing rapidly and benchmarking against the highest global standards. This site became the Shipbuilding Museum of Shanghai as part of the World Expo, and we're pleased to be here in the Bund, where we can see Shanghai, where we can see the world, where we can see the future of new finance. Finance exists to serve the people, regardless of their age, of their geographic location, of their income. All people should have equal access to financial services, to support, and the opportunity to develop. Shanghai gave birth to a wealth management product for common people with a minimum threshold of 1 yuan. You could call that product the predecessor of Yuebao. In fourth and fifth tier cities in China today, you can see older people making purchases conveniently with electronic payment tools, enjoying the convenience and simplicity of digital finance. You see small business owners at 2 a.m. in the middle of the night managing their credit lines on their mobile device because digital financial services are available 24/7. In the 21st century, 3 differences are emerging in the financial services sector. First is the constituency being served. Traditional financial services focused on serving the top 20% of customers. Now it's all about that bottom 80%, the long tail. Everybody should be entitled to the same level of service as the president of a bank. Second is that traditional financial services was about people looking for money. Now it's money looking for people. We're seeking out people to serve. And thirdly, it's all becoming use case based and scenario based. New financial services are becoming deeply integrated into our lives across a whole range of different use cases, supporting daily life. New financial services industry is underpinned by data and technology. In the past, assets were important, were the most important thing, but today it's all about assets. The new financial services architecture is all based on data. It's a distributed architecture, decentralized architecture, and going forward, blockchain will become a key technology. Risk control in the past was about using collateral and distrusting people. But today, risk control is all about trusting people based on data insights. We can build a value chain on the blockchain in which the most important kind of asset is data. At the same time, we see serving SMBs and average people in society as our important responsibility in the context of financial inclusion. This is a sustainable business model. Sustainable, inclusive finance is not about competing with the traditional financial services, but complementing it. It's an incremental market in which technology platforms work in partnership with financial institutions. As a technology company, a tech company, Ant Group is committed to taking an open platform approach. Alipay today is working closely with over 2,000 financial institution partners. As the digital revolution, digitalization accelerates, in part due to the pandemic, more of the industry is becoming digitalized, and Ant looks forward to working with all of our industry partners to be a part of this important process. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, Shanghai is a financial services hub and a technology hub. We are here on the banks of the Huangpu River, on the Bund, in one of the cities in the world with the highest density of financial services institutions. It's also a city with a high level of diversity and a spirit of inclusion. The Ant Group and Alipay look forward to taking on more responsibilities here in Shanghai, with Shanghai, to make the world more sustainable and more inclusive. Many of our firsts happened in Shanghai. Shanghai was the first place to enable payment of municipal utility bills on Alipay. It was also the first city to enable the use of Alipay by expats. And for all these reasons, we proposed to the Shanghai government that we should put together an inclusion fintech conference. Our proposal received enthusiastic reception from the Shanghai government, and it's wonderful to be launching this brand new inclusion fintech conference here together with all of you, with leaders in the industry from around China and around the world. Our inclusion fintech conference going forward will be based in the Bund. We hope that it will become a clearinghouse, if you like, or an exchange platform for new ideas, for new thinking, new technologies, all around providing more equal access and equal opportunities to everyone in society and to SMBs. So thank you for being here, and I wish the event a complete success. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Eric, for your remarks. And we can see clearly how Ant Group's efforts in financial services have paid off over the years, and your enthusiasm and passion for the future. Shanghai has long been the finance center of China, and today any financial center is also a technology center. To hear more about that, let's invite to the stage Simon Hu, President of Ant Group, to talk to us about the future of technology. The CEO of the Ant
Group. Distinguished leaders and delegates, participants online, developers online, partners from the financial sector, good morning. Today at the Bund in Shanghai, I have recollection of Yunqi town 10 years ago. In Hangzhou, in a place called Yunqi town, Dr. Wang Jian and I organized Alibaba Developer Conference, and then later it was renamed Cloud Computing Conference. Academician Wang Jian led our team for about 10 years. And today, Cloud Computing Conference is a leading conference in the industry. Its success was not because of Alibaba Cloud. It was because of Hangzhou's vision of digitalization. The city of Hangzhou captured the opportunity of digitalization. It is my hope that Ant Group and Alipay will achieve the same synergy with the city of Shanghai, leveraging the platform of inclusion Fintech conference. And I hope Inclusion Conference will be successful and leading in the sector, not because of Ant Group, instead because of Shanghai's vision in financial development. We need a platform for developers, AI, as well as financial services can all be communicating, and then all the power driving fintech will meet together. The theme of the conference is Technology is Leading a Digital Revolution from China to the World. This revolution is happening right here, right now, and the pandemic is accelerating the transformation, changing the financial services, changing people's life. The pandemic has made almost all consumers participants of online consumption. People move to online services in many aspects. In the 17th and 18th century, London became a financial center, leveraging trade and shipping industry. And then in 19th century, the Wall Street became a financial center because of the power of capital. But in the 21st century, a financial center must be a technology center. In this regard, I believe Shanghai is well positioned to become an international financial center. In the new century, financial center depends on cloud computing, database, blockchain, as well as all the leading technologies. With such a technology infrastructure, we will be able to build new finance empowered by technology. So going forward, a financial center is bound to be a technology center. In the new era, we need new innovations. Financial institutions are required to provide smart solutions and intelligent services. In the meantime, we are seeing comprehensive upgrading of digital transformation, which means financial institutions must be more trustworthy. Consumption happens on the internet. Manufacturing is happening on the internet. Edge computing, IoT, among others, are critical in making the financial system more secure. City management also takes place online. Therefore, there must be a more trustworthy, more robust system for the financial sector. New issues from global inequality can also be solved by inclusive, green and sustainable finance. If you look at global financial technology, we're seeing fintech is becoming more trustworthy and smarter. Today, financial intelligence is becoming a reality. At Alipay, artificial intelligence can provide customized services different offerings, different decision-making process for different users, depending on individualized risk profile. We can make recommendations in terms of financial services, and this is integration between artificial intelligence and financial services. Artificial intelligence is our key capability. Here are some case studies to share with you. Open Bank is facing with the challenge of data sharing. We believe data's sharing can only be based on value. Data cannot be shared, but value of the data can be shared. Data exchange must be based on privacy protection. Data is available yet invisible. And technology companies can work in partnership with financial institutions in driving new services. For example, Ant Group and financial institutions join hands in providing co-lending and transaction data, use case-based transaction data can be used to evaluate SMB's risk profile. We partner with financial institutions to co-create safe network to improve the risk identification. The essence of finance is about risk management. We must have dynamic financial risk management system. Therefore, we have time series graph computing. And based on graph intelligence, we add time dimension, enabling a more comprehensive knowledge graph. This offers precise basis for decision-making and risk control, and has financial-grade distributed graph database with large-scale real-time graph computing, enabling graph data intelligence and deep learning training with trillion edges. And we can enable second-level decision-making. If you look at our SMB's lending as well as consumer lending, our risk management is all dynamic. Around the clock, 365 days a year. So this level of technology can enable us in doing risk management and can also empower our services in terms of anti-money laundering as well as many other services. And next, let's look at our 310 model. We serve 80 million SMBs. With the impact of COVID, many SMBs are still able to have access to lending, and their repayment ratio is over 98%, credit worthiness rating of 98%. And this is the result of modeling as well as very powerful computing. And we do pre-lending, during lending, and post-lending dynamic risk management. This means SMBs are trustworthy. What's missing is the technology that proves that they are trustworthy and has credit worthiness. And this is why we have invested in technology over many years. Machine learning makes it possible to do auto detection and intelligent decision making. And this can improve intelligent decision making capability in terms of credit access, insurance compensation, as well as many other scenarios. We can use artificial intelligence and machine learning to improve efficiency. We adopted modeling approach to achieve tens of billions of data accuracy rate of investment research. As a result, the accuracy of investment research has been improved by 11%. 帮你投 is the largest AI-empowered financial advisory services. This is a joint venture between Alipay and Vanguard, which was established in the city of Shanghai. Within 100 days, we provided financial advisory services to 200,000 clients, and we are in the top league in terms of such size of services. As a result, Vanguard decided to close down their other offices in Asia. And then on the internet, we are able to deliver wealth management advisory services to our customers. We believe artificial intelligence, data, as well as technology will be able to empower financial advisory services to consumers. Today, we have a seminar in the Fintech conference about AI-powered financial advisory services, as well as other Vanguard products, and you can attend the seminar to know more about the details. New technology can make financial services more productive. In a very comprehensive way, we are doing digital transformation, and this means financial services has to be more trustworthy and more secure. Blockchain is a new infrastructure for financial trust, and interoperability technology can empower blockchain to streamline digital assets. Cross-blockchain is the foundation for digital assets to circulate, to meet, to transact, to generate more value. Today, Ant-chain has achieved 1 billion accounts, 1 billion DAT, and handling 100,000 interchain information. This covers all use cases, including supply chain finance, logistics finance, rural finance, cross-border trade. I would like to invite you to pay attention to blockchain, which we believe is a very important technology empowering financial transformation. In the future, we need more secure solutions. In blockchain era, financial security enters preemptive model. Risk control, edge to cloud, joint risk control, adversarial intelligence, and so on and so forth. We have alpha risk, which empowers around-the-clock scanning and surveillance. Less than 0.1 second, we can identify potential risks. So, financial innovation will be based on technology going forward. Technology brings about smarter and more secure financial services. It is also solving challenges in terms of building a greener and more sustainable world. So, over 550 million people planted trees on Alipay. Carbon emission reduction by 12 million tons with 220 million trees being planted and conserved, mostly in desert areas, which is about the total 2.2 times of the land area of Singapore. And forest connecting finance with philanthropy. During COVID, we are also making financial technology available in developing countries. In Bangladesh, many workers, because of the lockdown, were not able to get a job. So by using GCash, we allow textile workers, in particular 1.5 million textile workers, to have access to government subsidies. And on their mobile phone, they can have access to the financial resources they need. We also launched other services, including healthcare insurance for these people. Over the past 16 years, we see technology is empowering and to innovate and to strengthen our core competitiveness. Back in 16 years ago, we launched Alipay, solving trust issues. Many technologies, many innovations were based on Alipay. In 2010, we launched ocean-based database, which empowers many important businesses we're doing. And then later, we invested in Ant Chain. Over the past 5 years, in terms of patent as well as technology, we are leading globally. And this July, we upgraded to Ant Chain. Moving forward, Ant Group's top priority is to invest in sustainable development of technology. Going forward, for Ant, the most important thing is about investing in technology. We will continue to build our strength in homegrown technology, in IoT, artificial intelligence, 5G. We will continue to expand our investment so that we have the technology strength for long-term development. The new wave of technology is just beginning, and there's tremendous future going forward. We believe finance in the future is not just about capital and licenses. Instead, it is about data, technology, and technological innovation. Technology is the core engine of financial innovation to make it more inclusive, to solve inequality issue, to allow finance to serve more underprivileged people, to serve developing countries. Today, Ant Group, Alipay, we firmly believe technology is the core engine to power financial innovation and the most important engine. And this is the key message we would like to share with you at this conference. Thank you once again for being here with us for Inclusion Fintech Conference. In particular, I would like to thank all the developers joining us online, financial industry partners joining us online. Thank you.